I am Mr. Heslop, one of the maths teachers at the school, and my area of responsibility is numeracy. This might seem strange, because for many people the words numeracy and mathematics are interchangeable. In reality, they do overlap with one another to a certain extent, but numeracy also extends into other aspects of life and other subject areas. Numeracy skills, like the ability to rapidly recall our times table facts, allows us to do a task in mathematics, like basic division, or more complex tasks, like simplifying fractions or factorising an algebraic expression. Spotting or creating patterns is another numeracy skill that can be used in geometry or algebra for mathematics, but also in art, music and design. Creating or following a logical sequence of events or actions is important when solving many mathematical problems, but also in understanding historical events, writing essays or stories in English, building a model kit, assembling DIY furniture, programming in computing, design and manufacture processes, or scientific experiments. An understanding of measurements, whether it be for distances, weights, or times, is also a numeracy skill. Here at Newman, we have 3 tiers or levels of support for our students with their numeracy skills so that they can make progress, not just in mathematics, but in all subjects and other areas of life. All students will receive the first tier of support or intervention with their numeracy skills. This is done by identifying areas of weakness or gaps in knowledge. We identify areas that students need help with in a number of different ways. Every half term, the students are given a numeracy test that just has questions involving the basic skills of mathematics: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, with whole numbers, fractions, decimals and percentages. Through these, we can identify if a student has trouble rapidly recalling their timetable facts, problems with remembering number bonds, a lack of understanding of place value in a decimal, or misconceptions about fractions and percentages. At the beginning of every unit of work, which are usually 2 weeks long, teachers will also assess if students have the numeracy skills and mathematical knowledge to proceed with the unit. With the information from the numeracy test and the pre-unit test, teachers will then plan how they will deliver the unit of work so that the needs of all students are met. It does not stop there, though. As the class works through the units, the teacher is constantly monitoring the students' progress and will adjust the teaching accordingly. These adjustments or interventions could be as simple as a 2-minute conversation with the student to clarify something that they obviously struggled with during the previous lesson, or an extra question in the starter exercise so that everyone can have a little more practice at a skill before using it as a part of a larger problem. The intervention could be larger and take the form of a temporary halt to work on the current unit so that the whole class can look at a foundation skill together. Once the class has mastered this skill, they will return to the original unit of work. Finally, at the end of the unit, they will receive feedback on how they have done and be given an opportunity to spend a little more time on any weak areas that still remain. All of this is taking place in every lesson, every unit of work and term throughout the year for all students. Some students will have been identified using the results from their primary schools and testing that we do early in Year 7 of their numeracy and literacy skills as possibly needing a little more help via our second tier of support. We will monitor their progress very closely and will provide extra support if we think it will be necessary. This again could be as simple as the class teacher keeping a closer eye on the student during lessons and having more regular conversations with them. It could involve being taken out of lessons for short periods to work with another teacher, or they could be invited to an after-school numeracy session. If a student cannot stay after school, then extra material, whether physical or internet-based, could be given so that students and parents can work together at home. Students who have been identified by our Special Educational Needs and Disabilities Department will receive the third tier of support. Teachers from this department will work closely with the maths teachers and will often be present during maths lessons to assist the students in class. Where appropriate, they may take students out of lessons to work separately, or they may arrange for additional maths sessions at a different time of the day. There is an opportunity for a fourth layer of support, and that is you at home. Many people are put off helping their children with maths for many reasons. They may have found it difficult at school themselves. They may feel that they did not achieve a good grade. They may have forgotten most of what they were taught. There will be worries that techniques you use are not the right techniques or ones that are taught today. These are all perfectly reasonable concerns and worries to have, but please don't let them put you off trying to help your child or encouraging your child to have a positive attitude towards maths. I will never forget watching one of the lockdown TV programs where two footballers were talking about the difficulties they were having with homeschooling their own children, especially in maths. One of them had been asked by their child, "How do we do this?" And the answer was perfect. "I am not sure, but we can Google it and find out." There is now a wealth of information and help that is easily accessible. Just encourage your child to read it through fully. Watch all of the video clip if there is one. Try the questions that accompany it. Get them to look at several different sources. All too often we find that many of our students give up too easily if they are not encouraged to stick at it. Do not worry about using the wrong technique that might conflict with what we are teaching. If it gets the correct answer, then it is a good technique. The maths teachers at Newman are not precious about which techniques are used, and from what I have observed over the last 20 years of teaching, many of the new techniques have largely been passed over, and we have reverted back to the techniques that you and I used at school. If you have forgotten those techniques and methods, you will be amazed at how quickly they come back to you with just a little reading alongside your child. Another good way to support your child and encourage them to have a positive attitude towards maths is to look for informal opportunities to use maths. Imagine you are at a bus stop waiting for the bus home from a shopping trip. How long will it take for the bus to arrive when you look at the bus timetable? You're on a motorway travelling at 60 miles per hour and the sign says 90 miles to your destination. How long will it take to get there? Have these little discussions. You are planning a family holiday. Get them to help you work out the total cost of the holiday. And when shopping, ask them how much change they should expect. I mentioned earlier on other numeracy skills that do not involve calculations, like spotting patterns, sequences of instructions and measurements. Get them to help you assemble DIY furniture, or discuss and let them help with the sequence of actions needed to prepare a meal at home. These seemingly simple tasks for us as adults are actually quite complex and offer a wealth of opportunities for your children. Another way to support your child is to keep in touch with their maths teacher. The email addresses of all the maths teachers will be at the end of this presentation. Many of you will have questions that you would like me to answer. Accompanying this presentation is a questionnaire. Please use it to ask those questions. If it is of an individual nature about your child, I will obviously respond to it privately via email or phone. If it is a more general nature, then I will answer it in my next presentation in a few weeks' time.